you very much for being here. If you just joined us or you're still with us, it's still Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Now let's get to our main conversation, but just before doing that, I am honored to have with me a co-host for today, making her debut on Enterprise Morning, Vanessa Otulu. Hello, Vanessa, how are you?
I'm fine.
Thank you so very much for being here.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right, so let's kickstart today our main conversation with the story that we have. The political crisis in Rivers State has escalated as Governor Siminalayi Fubara invited members of the House of Assembly led by Speaker Martin Amiwule to a meeting. The invitation issued on Sunday by the Secretary to the State Government, Dr. Tami Danagogo, follows the Governor's receipt of a certified true copy of the Supreme Court judgment.
The meeting scheduled for Monday, March 10, 2025 at the Government House in Port Harcourt aims to address key legislative concerns, including the provision of a designated space for assembling sittings, payment of outstanding allowances to lawmakers, and the presentation of the 2025 budget.
Very true. And we equally have that other critical matters affecting the state's governors are also expected to be discussed. Governor Fubara's invitation is seen as a move to engage lawmakers loyal to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, in resolving ongoing political tension.
The meeting is anticipated to play a crucial role in determining the next steps for the state leadership and legislative processes. All
right, so that's what we have now. Let's have our conversation for today. Doing that with us, joining us via Zoom from Lagos State, Nigeria, is Emeka Madunagu, journalist, public affairs analyst. Thank you so very much, Emeka, for being here.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
All right, beautiful.
Hello, viewer.
Yes, thank you. All right.
Sir, Emeka, please, can you speak to us concerning what happened in Rivers State? Did you expect such turn of events?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm a keen follower of developments in Rivers State because I spent some years schooling there. My in-laws, are from there. My younger sister's family, they're from there, and then I have friends there. So I'm very interested in what goes on in Rivers State. So. I'd said a number of things, in the past that the governor should, use the carrot and the stick. That Governor Siminalayi Fubara should, try to engage those people in the State House of Assembly, in order. But the problem is this: between the governor and the members of the House of Assembly, there isn't much to worry about. The problem is, the former governor, Nyesom Wike, who really wants to play the role of a godfather in Rivers State, and he wants to dictate to the governor. And the governor is saying that no, the terms and conditions are not acceptable to me and the people of Rivers State, and we cannot work like this. So now, what has he done? Because he claimed that he bought nomination forms for all the people contested under the PDP in Rivers State. Then, so he must guide them, and that is what is going on. The governor, there are 36 states in Nigeria, and how many states? There are hardly any states where you see such rancor between the governor and the members of the House of Assembly. But the problem is that the devil is in the details, and that is what. That's where we have the problem. The governor has done well by inviting them to a dialogue. Remember, last week, after the Supreme Court judgment, the members of the Speaker Martin Amiwule, sent a letter which I found very disrespectful to the governor. You see, I would like to advise Nigerian politicians. I have seen a lot of things in my lifetime. I've seen military rule, I've seen civilian rule, democracy. Sorry, I saw military rule. I was born into military rule. For military rule, I saw civilian rule. I then saw military rule again. And then we're now seeing democracy. So I can actually tell people that there is nothing new under the sun. What goes up, will surely come down. It's only in Nigeria that prices of things go up. And Nigerian traders don't want to bring them down because of greed. So what I'm trying to say is this: whatever they like, they can, do. But they should remember that the overall interest of the Rivers State people is what matters. And so the House of Assembly should try to work with the governor. Giving the governor 24 hours to present a budget is highly disrespectful and is disdainful, because there is nowhere in the constitution that says that the legislature will tell the executive, whether the president or the governor or the minister of the FCT, within what time frame to present the budget. There's nowhere such happens. But you see, when people are not cognizant of the past and don't have an eye on the future, and are not thinking of how the past and the future will affect the present, they will act as if they have become God Almighty. And that is why you see what is going on in Rivers State. And we've forgotten that 6 people were killed, in the fracas that followed around the local government when the newly elected local government chairman were to be inaugurated. But the Supreme Court glossed over that and gave a shocking judgment. But I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Thank you.
Yeah, very true. And I'd love to ask this, because it's Siminalayi Fubara is very unpredictable fellow. You don't see him coming. And sometimes when he does what he knows how to do best, people do not expect the results at the end of the day. But this invitation to the lawmakers, 27 lawmakers, do you think there's something of the sleeves of Siminalayi Fubara? Do you think there's something he wants to achieve that Nigerians do not know about?
No, look at what the governor has said. He said they should, meet to discuss how to get a convenient place for them to hold plenary, because the assembly, was wrecked in a bomb blast. Then, for them to discuss the issue of the budget, the 2025 budget. Let me tell you, in human affairs, dialogue matters. You cannot foreclose dialogue. And the best thing is a political solution. Many of Nigeria's problems can easily be solved through political maneuvering, through political negotiations. But you see, Nigerian politicians are just a delinquent lot. They always believe things must go their way, or no other way. It's either their way or the highway. And that's what led to that, shocking Supreme Court verdict. Because the issue had to do with their defection. The governor didn't ask them to defect. The governor didn't push them out of the People's Democratic Party to the APC. He didn't. They chose of their own volition to defect, hoping that the PDP will fall into a crisis. But lo and behold, the PDP didn't fall into a crisis, and then they backtracked. You cannot eat your cake and have it. They withdrew the affidavit they swore, the fact that they had defected to the APC. And it was upon that basis that the Supreme Court, ruled. And remember, if we look at decided cases, because of this Natasha Akpoti-Dohan, her suspension has brought up, what the Supreme Court actually referred to. That the House, which has now brought up a conundrum in Nigeria's ground norm, a constitutional conundrum, which is what? Who has the power to suspend a member? Is it the House of Assembly? Is it the National Assembly, as represented by the Senate and the House of Reps? Or is it a court of law? Who? That's the conundrum.
Yeah, but the Legislative House is independent, according to what you just stated here.
Yeah, no, I was heading somewhere. I said the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court put the blame on the governor for the fact that those fellows were not sitting. But the governor didn't stop them from sitting. Was it the governor who bombed the assembly? Did they see the governor there? But the wordings of the Supreme Court judgment sort of alluded, strangely to the fact that the governor was to blame for their not sitting. Nobody stopped them from sitting. Where have they been sitting? In their quarters, in their legislative quarters. The governor could have exercised his rights as the chief security officer of the state and evicted them from their quarters. But he didn't do that. Even though he was under pressure to do so, he didn't do that. Now, when the assembly was bombed, did they go to the governor to say, Mr. Governor, we have sorry, we have changed our minds, about defecting. We want to remain in the PDP. Can we find a political solution? They didn't do that. Now they're telling the governor. Now they didn't even reply the governor. It was one group, one faceless group, that said they will not. Gave the impression that they will not honor the meeting. Let me tell you something. There is nobody in Nyesom Wike, helps to become Rivers governor that will not fall out with Nyesom Wike. There's nobody.
Are you really sure?
Wike has fallen out with everybody that helped him. Look, Toye Cole was to be made a minister, right? Amechi nominated.
Are still there? All right, we're having a little bit of a glitch there with
him.
Okay.
That's how he became Minister of State for Education. But now, the same Wike has insulted everybody that helped him. Everybody has fallen out with everybody. So what are we talking about? There is nobody. There is nobody. He hasn't insulted Tinubu yet because, he knows that might not turn out too well for him. But there's nobody has not insulted. Nobody.
All right, we're still having a little bit of a glitch here. Are you still there, Emeka? All right, I think we just have to see if Emeka will still, come back and on the particular issue that we have here, the issue with the Rivers State House of Assembly. And someone would ask, if really there would be a solution anywhere soon. Vanessa, we're talking about this and asking ourselves if really, there could be solution anywhere, because of the issue with Nyesom Wike. Well, it's still a developing story, just like and we hope that anything would happen anytime soon. But inviting the lawmakers to come have a sit down with him is one issue that we need to still talk about. It's still Enterprise in the Morning. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the quick break. All right, thank you so very much for being back. We were actually talking about the issue happening in Rivers State and the issue with Siminalayi Fubara inviting lawmakers for a sit-down meeting. And we still have with us Emeka Amadonago. Thank you so very much, Emeka.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
So
say something just before we had that little.
You've seen meetings between, so what I'm saying is that I'm advising the lawmakers to tone down, on their aggressive stance. Like they say, soldier go, soldier come, barracks remain. It's the interest of the people of Rivers State that will matter at the end of the day. So it's not about trying to assert authority, trying to show, because the question is this: why have they always been eager to impeach Fubara? Why? The people of Rivers State elected Siminalayi Fubara. Why? That is why I keep saying that we need fundamental electoral reforms. People will elect somebody, then one judge, one tribunal will just get him out. One court will just get him out. It should not be. It should not be. Some of these things need to be looked into. Then one assembly, state house of assembly, controlled by one individual, will just push them, go and impeach. No! You are bringing the rest of it. And that is what's happening now in the case of Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and Senate President Godswill Akpabio. You cannot. The courts have ruled, the Appeal Court have ruled that you cannot suspend a legislature for more than 14 days. Because you are denying, each of our constituents of constitutional representation. And that's what we're talking about. Those lawmakers, nobody stopped them from sitting. They were sitting up to a point, but all they were just thinking about was to impeach the governor. Why didn't they ask the governor to come and present the budget then? In exercise of the powers that have now been reconferred on them by the Supreme Court. And they keep quoting Supreme Court. Let me tell you, the Supreme Court can reverse itself. There have been instances where the Supreme Court reversed itself. It can reverse itself. So I just tell them that they should manage their victory very well. Because at the end of the day, it's the interest of the River State people that matters. Thank you.
Yes.
Sir, please, do you think Nyesom Wike will be excited knowing that he has all the cards?
Well, Nyesom Wike, given the kind of person he is, he will want to play all the cards at once. But, well, there are cards he has not seen coming. For instance, the assembly said the governor should sack his appointees. And so they said no. When you people absconded from the chambers, we were screened by, Edison Ehi, who was the speaker at that time. We were screened by him. So you cannot come and because the Supreme Court, I didn't see where the Supreme Court declared what the House of Assembly had done in the absence of Mewule and Co. Declared it illegal. It didn't. The Supreme Court said, as for the local government election, that the State Independent Electoral Commission did not adhere to the 90-day notice stipulated in the Electoral Act. It didn't say that the endorsement of the actions of the RCEC by the House of Assembly led by Oko Jumbo was illegal. Supreme Court didn't say that. So now those appointees have gone to court. It's going to be another long process up to the Supreme Court. So that's why I'm telling them that they should be very careful. Even Nyesom Wike, excuse me, should be very careful. Tables do turn in human affairs. So people should be very careful. When the odds are seemingly stacked against your opponent, and your opponent tries to reach out to you with an olive branch, you should be magnanimous in victory. Because politics should never be a zero-sum game. When you think you have mastered the opponent, along comes something you never expected. Look at what happened in Lagos State. The speaker was removed, while President Bola Tinubu was abroad. Look at all they had to do. At the end of the day, relying on muscle, raw brawn to bring him back. Tides change, and that is what I'll just tell Martin and Mewule and Co. That they should be very, very careful.
Yeah,
very careful. They should tread carefully.
Yeah, they should tread carefully. So people would say, pundits have come up to say that it's likely that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu would rather love to sacrifice Nyesom Wike over Siminalayi Fubara, because of course you can't overrule the enormous power of a governor, knowing that he has the grassroots. Rivers State was one of those states that made it possible for Bola Ahmed Tinubu to have won the election as the president today. Do you think you buy with the submission that it's possible, yes, Bola Ahmed Tinubu would rather sacrifice Nyesom Wike than Siminalayi Fubara?
You see, Tinubu doesn't need to sacrifice anybody. All he needs to do is just call both of them, Nyesom Wike and Fubara, to a private meeting. The media doesn't even have to know. Call both of them and say, look, I don't like your conduct. The way you people are fighting. Look at now, you've gone to the Supreme Court. You're going to make things difficult for this nation. Listen, Nyesom Wike, give this man breathing space. You, Fubara, give Nyesom Wike respect, the respect due to him, as your mentor. And go and work for the good of the people of River State and Nigeria as a whole. And that's all. That's all it is. The meeting may not even last more than 30 minutes. Just tell them, like a father, after all, is older than both of them. But what is all this? After all, take note. The Supreme Court in July, was it July 24 last year, ruled on local government finances, right? But the federal government now looked at it that if we were to implement the Supreme Court's judgment, stricto sensu, that there will be problems. There will be problems. It will be like torpedoing the existing political structures in the states. Because don't forget, all politics is local. When you talk about roads, you talk about agriculture, you talk about security and all, it's about communities. Even in the highbrow areas, these are communities. That's why in some states you have community development association, you have town unions and all of that. It's all local. So when you now try to detach the states from local government, you're going to create unintended, problems. So what did the federal government do? They now found a kind of a middle way in implementing it. Since there has been no constitutional review to say, okay, let local governments be on their own. I want to tell you that in some states, the local government chairman came together and signed, a letter of, attorney, power of attorney, and handed over to their governor that you should manage local government finances on our behalf. We are donating our powers to you. So what do you do in that instance? Are you going to say that what they did was illegal? No. It's just like a local government, has power to give contracts to outsource, its functions. So they have now outsourced their, financial issues to the state government, but they will continue to work with the state government. But you see, there are, when you look at some of these interests, there are people who rather prefer their own acolytes to be in the local government. So they'll keep trying to cause confusion. No, implement the Supreme Court ruling, a judgment, implement it, stricto sensu. But if there's a crisis, these same people have no solution. They have no solution to it. So let us be wise in doing all this. Let's be wise.
Very, very true.
Sir, please, is there anything legally possible in the case of Fubara?
Well, there was a suit instituted at the Federal High Court, still talking about the defection. But when the certified true copy of the Supreme Court judgment came out, the issue of defection appeared to have been treated, in such a way that the Supreme Court was now sort of declaring that no court can rule on the issue of defection. But I tell you what, it's left for the National Assembly to just sweep that away. Because defection is a major issue. The problem is the delinquent politicians we have in Nigeria. When the PDP was in power, its national chairman then, Vincent Ogbulafor, said to be in power for 60 years. He just got drunk with power. And at the end of the day, they were swept off. They were swept off the stage within a few years. So, they don't think of the future. All they think about is now, Nigerian politicians. Otherwise, the PDP would have instituted a tough defection, tough punishment for defectors. But because at a point, they were controlling 28 states, in Nigeria. And so, how many states did the ACN have at that time? ABGA was just one state, Anambra. ACN was just maybe Lagos and some states. And, so they got carried away by that. Now, the APC is in power. The APC has a majority in the National Assembly. And they don't want to do anything about defection because they are enjoying things now. People are defecting to their platform. But they forget, that the tide can change. The tide can change. The PDP could bounce back to power. Or another party. Look at the upset that Peter Obi of the Labour Party. See the upset he brought in 2020. Did anybody expect it in 2023 election? Nobody expected it. So, when you look at everything, Nigerian politicians should think of the future. Their type of politics should be legacy driven. They should think. Let me tell you, this is 2025. In 25 years now, Nigeria and other African countries will have the largest population in the world. Nigeria will have one of the largest populations, youth populations in the world. And so many other advantages. So by then, will the youth take all of this nonsense going on? You see what they are trying to do? They are trying to bring their children in to continue things, thinking that their children will have will wield the kind of authority they have. Let them continue to deceive themselves. Time will tell. Thank you.
Very, very well. Time will tell. Just before we let you leave, Emeka, some people would say what goes around comes around. We truly do understand. We obey what the Apex Court has said as at the time when Governor Siminalayi won his legitimacy as governor of Rivers State. But for so many reporters that were on ground when that gubernatorial election was ongoing, they equally said that it was actually Tony Cole that should have won that election. But we all know how things happened. Now, do you think what is happening to the Fubara / Yeltsin Wike's camp is definitely as a result of nature playing its part?
No, let me tell you, Rivers is a PDP state. There's no way Tonyeko could have won the election. Because Amechi, the same Chibika Amechi, Rotimi Amechi, there have been rumors that he wants to move away from APC back to PDP. He has he developed any solid structures for APC in Rivers State? The answer is no. You can ask people on the ground. He has not. So it was just a grudge defection. And he has not been able to build solid structures for APC in Rivers State. He has not. So Rivers is a PDP state. So there was no way Tonyeko could have won. There was just no way. There was no way. So the fact of the matter is that, I mean, the fact that Tinubu was declared winner in Rivers State doesn't mean he won Rivers State. Because the Labour Party presented, its own defense and said, he presented his case and said it won Rivers State. The same thing, the PDP said so. By the end of the day, INEC declared it. But we know, manipulations took place during the elections. The IRF suddenly stopped working. In the middle of declaration of election, while Nigerians were asleep, the IRF stopped working. All those shenanigans that took place. So now, if these shenanigans didn't take place, why go to INEC's website and see the outcome of their deliberations, some months ago, about how they have now upgraded the IRF, they have upgraded the beavers, the things they have done. Why did they do? If the system they used in 2023 was perfect, why did they carry out those reforms? You can go on Google and check, INEC's electoral reform. You will see it. It was the chairman of INEC, Professor Waku Yakubu, who delivered this. He was the one that delivered the report. INEC report for 2024. It was a review of the 2023 elections. And INEC listed out the problems, the things that were wrong with the election. And you could see it. They admitted clearly that the IRF had some issues. And that's why they had to institute some, upgrades in the IRF, in the beavers. So that's to tell you that, look, when you see all this, this one won, it was just, we saw what happened in Lagos State now. Usonwo have got the second term. If not that, the thugs were deployed in the streets, to stop people from going to vote. Someone who wouldn't have won. It's very clear, someone who wouldn't have come. The other unserious fellow, who was saying that it was the Peter B effect that made him lose. He wouldn't have won because he was not serious. He was fighting with his party's leaders, with the party's elders. So there was no way he could have won. There was no mobilization, nothing. So how could he have won? How could he have beat Sanwo-Olu? There's no way he could have done that. Because they didn't even really have a message. So when you look at all of these shenanigans of opposition, you just cannot but laugh. They think we're stupid. We are not. Nigerians are smart and getting smarter by the day. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you so very much, Emeka, for being here. We truly do appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
All right, people, that's just about the time we have for today. We'd love to say thank you for making the picture complete. But please do well to be part of what we do. You can always find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igwebike.
And I am Vanessa Utulu.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.